I've been looking into H3's content recently because a lot of people have been messaging me, leaving comments, basically saying, "Yo, you should take a look. H3 versus Hasan. H3's base now. All this stuff." And I was like, "Okay, what is going on? Why is this the sentiment?" And I was looking into it, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really as enthusiastically on H3's wave as I think I've seen a lot of other commentators. Now, the purpose of this little rant I'm going to go on is not really to say H3 bad, whatever the hell. It is basically just to provide a little warning, I guess, or a bit of an aside for commentators or anybody who basically thinks like, dude, H3's cool now, okay? I have not had a problem with H3, and I don't, at the moment, really care enough to have a problem with H3 at all, all right? But what I will say is that it seems like there is a lot of people who are almost solely siding or, backing H3 right now because he is providing antagonism. He is providing a counter voice to Hasan Abi. This drama is basically on the back end, of a fucking global conflict that is way out of almost every single one of our leagues, you know what I mean, in terms of discussion, especially fucking H3. Now, of course, the natural response is like, hey, but fucking, it's out of Hasan's depth as well. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But if it's out of Hasan's depth, right, like, you need to realize that H3 brought Hasan onto his fucking podcast as, like, the political expert, okay? So that should give you a kind of an understanding of H3's position when it comes to fucking politics. Keep in mind, I've just seen that H3, okay, posted on Instagram that he was not aware of Hasan's politics. Keep that in mind, all right? That H3 would either, there's two options really, that he would lie so fucking blatantly about the fact that because, I mean, look, I don't think that he really is not even trying to hide that. And Ethan kind of makes it seem like Hasan tries to hide his politics. I'm pretty sure that every fucking person who knows Hasan, including his fans, his enemies, etc., knows that he's a communist, right? So it's either that H3 is lying about that, right? That he didn't know Hasan's politics, or he's fucking stupid. He's a dumb fuck, and he should not be listened to in this domain. Does that make sense? And again, this is not a shot at H3. It's just me trying to understand how the fuck could you start a podcast with a man whose politics you did not know, where he is like the lead political commentator? How the fuck is that possible? And so, I mean, yes, it's either basically he brought Hasan on because he was popular, because it was like this new wave, and the audience was really like resonating well with Ethan, okay? Like, it was basically, the vibe I get is that it was opportunistic, okay? It was convenient. It worked and meshed well with the direction that H3 had been going, right? Of course, it's natural, I guess, that H3 was like, whoa, okay, so we have Hasan who's popping the fuck off. Let's be clear, like, Hasan was doing extremely well, all right? And he had just, dropped Trisha Paytas, okay? And so here we have Hasan, who's certainly a very different character from Trisha, right? And H3 kind of let him jump on board, okay? And it was working well. And of course, the tragic fucking events of October 7th completely derailed this entire working relationship that these two had, okay? But when it comes to the actual conflict, okay, which is, in my opinion, what should be fucking focused on, right? Not these interpersonal dramas. I understand, of course, there's a time and a place to cover these things, and Hasan should be held accountable for whatever the fuck he's done wrong. I totally understand that. But I would be careful about raising up H3 as this, figure in this setting, because it's just strange, right? It's strange in the sense that what I am basically seeing from H3 is a fucking cancellation campaign, right? Is it not? Am I confused? You can tell me if I'm confused, but I think I'm seeing clearly. And what I am seeing is basically, obviously, H3 is not an advocate for whatever you say, freedom of speech, sure. But more than that, he is clearly advocating for de-fucking-platforming. Hasan, in this case, right? The thing that confuses me, right, is, again, seeing so many commentators who have been so vehemently against de-platforming in the past, suddenly when it's being levied toward Hasan, it's permissible. I'm not going to say it's endorsable, because I'm not like claiming that I've seen all these commentators endorsing Hasan getting de-platformed, but it's like, very clearly there is a heavy fucking lack of sympathy or even like lip service, really, in terms of like, defending Hasan against being de-platformed. And it is ironic, I would say, that there are, people who are endorsing H3 so vehemently when he is the most fucking blatant that we have ever seen him, okay, in trying to cancel somebody. The point that I'm getting at is that basically all the commentators rallied against H3 at this time because he tried to get Keemstar's funding pulled effectively. Well, now he's doing that on a massive fucking level, like a league above, okay? He is pretty overtly calling for, punishment, I guess you could say, external forces to pull out, right? There is the ADL involved, there is, boycotts through Dan Saltman. Okay, to once again emphasize, I don't give a fuck. Like, Hasan is probably a dumbass, and there are probably fucking things that he deserves to be held accountable for, all right? But since when, as commentators, do we actually actively endorse the people who are trying to make the fucking platform hold someone accountable? Would it not be kind of, I don't know, would it not be wise in a way to look a little bit past the ego battle that is occurring? Because let's be clear, it is an ego battle, okay? Whether Hasan is a net negative to his platform, whether he is a net negative to the world, whether either of them are, it is an ego battle, okay? There's all the cope in the world that can justify trying to get somebody. It's also an ego battle, 100%. Right? You can